Hi, everybody. So Kelley and I are here together again, and we're going to talk about the conjunction that's coming. We're going to talk about the moon. There's a lot of stuff going on in astrology, and that drives a lot of the energy that humanity is focused on. So, and I'll talk about that again later, but I wanted to talk just about the planets really quick because Earth is a being, as you guys know, if you've been listening to me for a while. I believe Earth is a being. I've seen her. I've been into the inside of Earth to look at her and to help her with something and to be in awe of her. Like, she's so wow, like she's a voluptuous being. And all the planets are beings. So in the heart of a planet is a being, and that being is a big old soul that has certain kinds of energy. And this really applies to astrology. So I'm very excited to talk about all the stuff that's coming, because we're definitely on a wild road right now, and it's beautiful. So I think it's going to be really gorgeous next week. Things will be a little more even for everybody, but that's just the energy. So tell us, Kelley, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing okay. It really, this energy is quite something. And it certainly keeps us like a bit vigilant, and also like in terms of like, kind of setting your mood for the day, making sure your vibration is as high as you can get it. And, that really is supported by self-care and giving ourselves time and prioritizing that. So that's, and it's very much about the clarity of self. So, yeah, we have this really eye-catching conjunction coming up. It would be fun if we could see it in the sky, but you need like at least really good binoculars. And we also have a full moon coming up on the 23rd. Now, this is the full moon that follows the new moon total solar eclipse. And, it might have been a letdown, except this full moon is not a letdown. This is a really, really powerful full moon, and we will be experiencing the blossoming, let us say, of the eclipse, at least a first step, because that eclipse is going to reverberate and ripple out for quite a while.
Yes.
So whatever it was, whatever it was,
Whatever
we have
it was energetic for sure.
Yeah, and whatever the solar system is, whatever the moon is, in terms of our experience, we have this rhythm with the full moon. So shall I bring up the chart, and we'll take a look at it, and we're going to be as simple as we can be, in terms of my language. So if I'm getting a little too, astrologies, please do let me know.
It's really fine.
Okay, so here we have the full moon, and there are some planets here that give us a lot to talk about, a lot to chew on, and a lot to consider in relation to consciousness development and how astrology evolves along with our consciousness. So we are in a new astrological era, which involves a new a number of planetary objects. People are calling them asteroids or dwarf planets or planetoids or planetesimals, whatever we want to call them. They're in a band of the solar system called the Kuiper Belt. And this is a kind of new level of consciousness that we're being invited into. And we've talked about this a bit, but because there are two of these Kuiper Belt objects involved very intimately with the power of this moon. So here's the sun. moving into it just is moving into Taurus. When is that? Tomorrow. Well, we're talking on Thursday, and Friday, the 19th is when the sun goes into Taurus, and then Saturday, the 20th, is this day with, it's not just a day, it's several days when Jupiter and Uranus are like really, we can see them in this chart really, really close. Uranus at 21, almost 22 degrees, the 360 degrees of the circle. And when they align in the same degree, that is a power moment. That is a melding of the energies of these two planets, which represent a shift in consciousness, a revolution. So, so this is part of the character of this full moon that has a lot of other powerful things too. So since I just started on it, shall we talk about the Jupiter-Uranus combination and then weave it back into the chart? So this combination happens about every 13 years. So it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's in a different sign every time. And Uranus is a planet that represents, it's in a sign for 7 years, and it represents one of the signs of the times, one of the themes going on in our collective consciousness, which we've had Uranus in Taurus since 2019, 2018, 2019. And in Taurus, it's about Earth, it's about embodiment. And we've been talking about that quite a lot, in ascension circles, right? And this is we're either going to embody and engage with the earth energy and the evolution of the earth, or we could sort of divorce ourselves from all that and go into the AI possibility. So we have to figure out how that is going eventually. And this is one of those moments because Jupiter is the big planet and it amplifies anything that it's involved with. So it's going to amplify, bring more opportunity, more expansion of our capability of embodying what Uranus represents, which is our higher mind consciousness. So that's been infusing into our body also. This higher mind consciousness can be, really absorbed in every cell and be changing the, all of the physicality that we're experiencing in this unprecedented kind of moment of entering a new era. And so this is one of the markers that is about that, about our ascension and about our embodiment, and also just about what's going on in the bigger world. So this is really an exciting Uranus Uranus is exciting no matter what. And it's a planet that has to do with expect the unexpected. Whatever we think is going to happen, it's going to happen in a different way. And the eclipse gave us a kind of open door to that, and now it's like, okay, on the ground, we're going to be experiencing it both personally and collectively. And this is changing our relationship with the earth and how we live on the earth. And, even some of the earth changes going on are, there's so many floods all over the world. There's all these, earthquakes and volcanic activity, and the earth is kind of coming back to herself and saying, you guys messed it up a bit. I'm going to take this back and get it together here, and then you can deal. So,
yeah.
And of course we have relationship with this. We have creative consciousness to engage with this process. So we can be helpful if we are able to step back and see it, even while being in our bodies and deepening and grounding.
I love that. Love it. So you had some other pictures over here too, Kelley. Are you going to show us those?
Yes. Well, I have two more, and let me set it up. So this full moon, here's the sun with the full moon
Mhm.
opposite, right at the beginning, fairly beginning of Taurus and Scorpio. Now, in general, and we just talked about Taurus with this planetary pair meeting up, and about the fuller, richer embodiment. And here's the sun in Taurus, like, okay, this is a month where we can really more fully embody, and that means also seeing how our outer world is changing and how our values are changing, and what that means in terms of what we're experiencing,
Yeah.
and the way the earth is showing herself in different ways. So this is the month for that, the whole month of Taurus. So we have the full moon in Scorpio. Now, Taurus is embodiment, it's earth, it's solid stuff. So to speak, solid stuff, but Scorpio knows there's more going on under the surface in the subatomic realm, and it's going to stir that up. So it's stirring up what's been beneath the surface, and we can look at that in a lot of ways. And it's giving us the capacity to alchemize, to, like, if we don't like what we're experiencing, we go inside and we go with Scorpio, and what do I really want? What is my deepest desire, and how can I change the subatomic field in order to manifest that? So we've got, with the moon, we've got one of these new quantum consciousness planetoids called Haumea. So let's take a look at Haumea, who is the Hawaiian goddess of childbirth and creativity. She gives birth to everything. So many of these new Kuiper Belt objects are being named for indigenous creator gods. It's very exciting. And that's what excited me to start researching these things. And Haumea is just a favorite. Haumea, Hawaii has that Lemurian contact. You get off a plane in Hawaii and you smell the jasmine. It's a very fertile, beautiful place, and very ancient. So Haumea is a strong factor in this moon, and this capacity to kind of change our experience from the inside out and to give birth to something else. She's so stirred up in relation to new birthing.
Yeah.
So there she is. So
Beautiful.
we've got really, really strongly.
Mhm.
Yeah, and she's beautiful. So so I'm going back to the full moon chart for a minute to bring Haumea into relationship, not only with the moon, but with this interesting dynamic where we see factors like on all four corners of the chart, which is a very strong geometric pattern. Gosh, I think it must have been back in the 40s. There was this man that worked with who did he work with? The radio, in the beginning days of radio. And he found out that the radio waves would be received or have more static to them based on how their relationship in relation to the earth. So the static is this kind of 90-degree angle where we need to adjust the dial. It's not coming in really well.
Mhm.
And all four factors on these four corners are involved and need to kind of work together all to come to this new, more, kind of fluid receptivity or activity. It's a call to action. So this is a call to action moon. And so the sun and the moon, the sun and the moon are in a challenging dynamic with Pluto. Yes, this is a proper follow-up to that total solar eclipse, because Pluto is also one of the rulers of Scorpio. So it's very intense. It's very transformational, transmutational, and I'm using the word transfigurational lately, because we are lifting into our light bodies. while we are rooted deep into the earth. So Pluto is one of those factors that has to do with the collective consciousness and what we are transforming or transfiguring or transmuting on a really, kind of deep collective consciousness level. And it's just gone into Aquarius. It's going to go back into Capricorn in the fall. It's transitioning. So we're transitioning into this new era. We're more fully into it this year than we were last year. So Pluto, the god of death and rebirth. Pluto is destructive in order for the rebirth to happen. And there's how Maya going, yeah, Pluto, we're really doing it, aren't we? It's like taking the old away that doesn't even fit with the earth energy. Capricorn is truly an earth sign, and it's about honoring the earth and developing systems and ways of living on the earth that is earth honoring. And we've been so aware, increasingly aware of how, the power, the corruption that is, wanting, as if it's want to destroy the earth.
Yeah. Yep. That's changing now.
Yeah. So this is a more than flip the switch kind of thing. This is Pluto saying we're changing from the inside out, and certain things are just leaving our world, right? It's partly because of the deeper richness that's emerging in consciousness.
Yeah.
But we've got to go through Pluto, the dark journey, to cast the shadows out and lift into the cleaner, fresher air of Aquarius.
I love that.
It helps when we can, both Uranus, which we're having a profound experience of now, and also Aquarius are astrological factors that suggest the higher mind, stepping back to witness your own experience. I know you've been talking about inner dialogue lately, and it's okay, listen to yourself, listen to your inner dialogue, and just be witnessing how you're embodying yourself in your daily life. So the Pluto is a bigger picture of that, and moving us more deeply in this whole moon cycle that started with this, really compelling solar eclipse. So this is the blossoming of that is saying it's changing and you're not going back.
Yeah, we're not going back. We did, no matter what the eclipse actually was or who created it, we definitely stepped through a door of frequency. So everything has been different and very discombobulated since the eclipse. And even before it was ramping up to it, the day of the eclipse, none of the crazy stories that were being floated around came true. So I think it's important to have perspective, to step back when you hear a crazy story, or when you hear a story that is trying to pull you down.
Yes. Yes.
And even your own stories. So if you're creating a story about yourself, step back and say, wow, do I really want to continue that story? And I think that's really important right now. And I feel we're going to get a little more focused again. And we're also going to kind of see more clarity with what we want over this next few weeks. And it won't be necessarily tremendously calmer, but I feel like it will be slightly calmer than it has been over the last several days. The last several days have been so intense, and everybody I know has been exhausted and a little cranky and not really focused. I have a list of stuff to do, but if I don't have something immediate, I'm oh, I just can't do it right now.
Yes, I feel that way too. And part of the working with our own stories, do I want to keep that one up? I've also been finding that it has to do with how I'm thinking about other people.
Yeah.
And I realize I've been projecting negative scenarios, and that's not a good thing to be doing. So that's part of the influence of, like, being more clear in oneself, and then how are we relating to other people? From what place are we relating to other people? And so this goes along with so many of the themes going on of this deep transformation from the inside out, of whether with Pluto, are we buying into the fear, or are we claiming our power?
Yeah.
So that's a theme of Pluto in general, which evokes, like, we have a whole new realm of collective fears that we have to make our way through and shed those, not buy into those.
Mhm.
Scorpio can get very entangled. It's about the energy that we are sharing with each other,
Yeah.
and what kind of energy are we picking up and are we sending out? And so how can we alchemize any negativity into a freer, higher alignment that really can help change? So this is a deep, deep piece of work.
Yeah.
And we've got to be kind to ourselves along the way. We have 3 planets in Pisces down here. So this is like we just need to rest when we need to rest, because we're picking up so much energy, and we're learning how to
Transmute.
sort that, to filter that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a beautiful time right now. And just kind of remembering that there is a group of beings, like there's all the souls up there that are not incarnated. And we join them at night when we go to sleep. And
Mhm.
we're planning what we're doing here. So even this chart, just like Home Depot and the Home Depot and how the monocle went away, even the astrological chart is being morphed for our benefit. So
Yes.
think about it that way. There are no coincidences. And
Yeah.
we're getting a map right now of where we're going. And I think that comes from the cosmos, There's a
Oh,
lot of souls up there. So how many are in charge of astrology? I bet there's a lot.
well, that's a great segue into Varuna. So Varuna is the 4th corner on this active pattern. It's like a square dance. You do-si-do and move with your partner, you change partners. It's not like a waltz where it's a smooth flow with this partner. This is a square dance. And all the planets have to be involved, and you have to dance with everybody. So
Yeah.
Varuna is another one of these Kuiper Belt objects named for an Indian god from India. So one of the ancient Vedic gods. And he was said to be the overseer of first the sky, but now the water. And I'm thinking that he's in charge of the water in the sky, that kind of form of water. The water's above and the water's below,
Yeah.
and that he's in charge of both of those.
Mm-hmm.
And he rides this kind of combination of alligator. What else does he look like? Sometimes they make his head look like an elephant. It's called a makara. So
Oh, yeah.
he's one of the most ancient of the Vedic gods, and he rules over cosmic law and universal order. And he's right in the picture right now. He's coming back to recreate cosmic order, how we're living in harmony with universal law.
Yeah.
So he's very insistent right now, and in the sign of Leo, which is a very creative, expressive sign of sovereignty and self. And there he has a dragon in his story.
Mhm.
And also here, all those holes in the sky, he can take any star and use it as an eye to see what's going on around the world and if anyone is breaking cosmic law.
Yeah.
So this is a wonderful factor to have in this moon cycle, because we're helping to Pluto recreates, and Haumea from the deepest desire of our soul. And so we're creating now from a very deep place in ourselves, as this moon is evoking something very powerful, which might be based on the contrast in what's going on in the outer world and what do we really want. It can be really highlighting that.
Yeah.
And we can take that on and be in that recreative space. So it's changing the mirror of the world in terms of our collective consciousness as we're changing. And this is a challenging moon. So we just need to stay in our clarity and align with cosmic law and with this deep birthing energy that is gestating the new earth.
Yeah. Absolutely. And when you have something come up, let it come out. Let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, there's the fear or the fearlessness of Pluto.
Mhm.
And because we know we're moving into a new era, we can be more fearless, because the certain things that have bound us and created a longing for security that is artificial, that's all falling apart anyway. And the only constant in is change. And this is a big change moment. What an opportunity. Oh, I just had a chickadee land on my windowsill. I've never seen that before. I think they were some sunflower seeds.
No.
So look back at the chart again and address this interesting combination of factors here. When there's so many factors like that, three or more, like we call it in conjunction, in alignment, like right with each other, we call it a stellium, which is one of my favorite astrology words. So we got a stellium of Venus, Chiron, Mercury, still retrograde for a couple of more days. Let's take advantage. And the dragon head, which was basically the eclipse. So this is the eclipse energy, still very, very present, still very like paradigm shifting. That's one of the meanings of Chiron. It's the teacher healer. It's like clarifying in Aries. It's like stand your ground, be who you are. And we're getting so much compelling, like, invitation to that. We don't need to accommodate other people anymore. We don't need to get off balance. So this is, again, how are we even energetically, engaging with people, even with the thoughts we have about them? Let's cut some of those negative, kind of wiring out. We don't need that kind of energy dynamic, whether we're receiving it from other people or we're sending it out automatically. We can automatically do a lot of this stuff. And this is requiring the vigilance, the fresh take on every moment possible. Because Chiron is very much about aligning in the moment, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. So it's about be in the moment. This is the now. There's no other place or time to be. So this is really this call to vigilance and walking like the Fool card in the tarot, just right there with the energy, and whatever comes up, how are you meeting that? And how are you watching yourself meet that? So that, because if you're in alignment, you've got that capacity, and that it's an increasing capacity as, in this ascension process.
Mhm.
So Chiron is like, okay, so Aries rules the brain. And, I watched a video the other day that was really interesting, about consciousness and about how we think, how our thoughts create our reality. Like, we know that.
Mhm.
So here's the Aries thing. Brain waves turn into particles. This is a scientific fact now, I guess.
No,
So
it's true.
yeah, so here we are, like watching our thoughts and that inner dialogue and our self-talk. And Mercury is like, look at this, look at what you just said to yourself. And the Mercury retrograde can take us to a different place, which is looking back, but it can also look way back. It can look, I was listening to the Serbian astrologer Alexander Imsaragic, who is just an amazing esoteric high priest, actually. So he was talking about how Mercury retrograde can take us back to other lifetimes. And I hadn't thought that far back with it. But when it's so close to Chiron, yes, it's going to take those thought patterns that have snuck into our current life and and rewire. And this is so great about rewiring. That is new neural pathways coming up. And how otherwise can we help? Like, it's like an old kind of switchboard operator who plugs a wire in here and connects it there and then takes this one and puts it there. How can we rewire how we are perceiving even?
Yes. Yeah. We're letting go of a ton of programming right now. And it's programming that we don't need anymore. And it's also soul shadows. And like there was guilt that came up for me today that came from my soul, guilt about the soul children that came from my soul and how we've all participated in a game that wasn't always nice,
Yes.
and all of us have that. Unless
Yeah.
you're a brand new soul, you've participated in this learning game that hasn't always felt so good. And really forgiving ourselves for all of that and moving
Yeah.
forward, that's a
Yeah.
layer that's beautiful with Mercury retrograde because it's coming up and it comes up all the time. But I feel like you can, right now, the energy is allowing us to dig deeper, and we're seeing that in the outer world too. Like there's so much being revealed right now that is quite gross, but we're also rejoicing that it's being revealed because that means it's ending.
Yes. Yes. And that's important to remember.
Yeah.
Because we're clearing the space in so many ways. Pluto says that these Aries planets say that it's a fresh take on everything. So yeah, the Mercury retrograde is also honing in during the Jupiter Uranus. So it's like, okay, we are really rewiring, and that's allowing us to embody more fully and more effectively. So it's just an amazing time. And the dragon head is the where the leading edge of consciousness is right now, collectively. So especially if you're in Aries, you're getting a lot of downloads. You're really clearing space. If you're right around the age of 50, a couple of years on either side, you're having your Chiron return and you are being called. And there's so many people who, whatever you've got in Aries or different generations are experiencing this differently. And we can't talk about that right now, but maybe we will at some point, about the different decades and how every generation is being called up to blaze this new territory. Aries is a fresh track. You gotta get some of the tangled bushes out of the way to make that clear path and move forward. It's like a, bushwhacking kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you've gone into a hoarder house and you're clearing everything out right now. And we've been doing that incrementally, but I feel like right now it's a much bigger chunk that we're releasing because we
Yeah.
are stepping into something new. And we'll
Yeah.
release smaller chunks as we go into the new to make more room. But right now, we're releasing that big chunk so that we can get in there. And there's room in your, I call it the shopping bag sometimes too. Like you have got a bunch of expired cans in there and you need to pull them out so you
Oh,
go and get new food. And
yeah.
it's time
Yeah.
for that right now. So
And
we're
you
really
can't be
moving
too
forward.
sentimental about it. You
Yeah,
just can't keep all these memos and these pressed flowers and these sentimental things. It's just clutter at this point.
yeah.
And the memories can hold you back. Memories, can hold you back. I've got a Cancer moon, I think, which is a sign that has a really good memory, like almost too good.
I do too.
So yeah, we have to, it's like cleaning out your closet. It's like, oh, I used to love wearing this, but I'm
Right.
not going to wear it anymore. Out it goes, kind of thing. Yeah, I'm doing that around my place quite a bit. And why am I holding on to this? Do I really need like 10 tablecloths? Because I like them, they're linen, you know?
Well, and you can change things too. Like if you have linen, then I would maybe make it into something else if you
I've
can.
been thinking about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But otherwise, like if you've got a rayon shirt that you really loved, but when you wear it, you feel icky, then
Yeah.
let it go. Turn it into
Yeah.
something else. Make it a pillow or whatever,
Yeah.
You're not having it on your body and it's dropping your own consciousness. That's what we're talking about, letting go of things that are pulling on you.
Yeah, I was surprised. I have sensitive skin, and I realized that part of it is the synthetic materials, and it's like, oh wow, that's a big turnover here, but it does feel really good, you know.
It so does. And to wear cotton or linen, linen's harder to find at this point, but to wear 100% cotton or mostly cotton even feels so much better than to wear synthetic. Like I had a sweater that I bought and I put it in the dryer and we have a propane dryer and it melted in there. And I was like, oh, that's horrible. I only wore it once. But then I also thought, that's totally plastic. Like, I don't want to be wearing
Yes,
that anyway.
yes, yes, we've got to remember that. It's part
Yeah,
of the oil industry, plastics and just plastics in general also, and that's a big one to chew off. So, but this is the earth energy that we're dealing with. This is the Uranus Jupiter. This is what are our values, and are we living those values in a practical way?
yeah.
Hmm.
And just do it one step at a time. Don't feel like, oh, today I have to throw out
Right.
everything, but think about it, like have some awareness of what you do want to get rid of. And I know I've been thinking about that a lot. Like,
Yeah.
what cupboards do I want to go through and get rid of stuff you know,
Yeah.
and all of that. It's a great time to do that because it frees up your energy, you guys. Like it really is helpful.
Yes, it clears the space.
Yeah,
And that's really it does help your head. you know?
it does
Yeah.
because we're actually supporting that. If you think about it, we created everything in front of us. So think of all the things you're carrying around in your energy field that are work for you basically. So the more you
Mm.
can pare down and just keep the things you absolutely love, the better off you are. Like I'm not going to throw away my books and get rid of my craft supplies and stuff, but there are things that we don't really need. and that kind of interfere and pull. And those
Mhm.
are great things to let go of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is let go. This is a big let go full moon coming up here. Scorpio is about just shed what you don't need and what you don't really love and truly desire to have in your life. That is one of the deepest lessons of Haumea right now. What in terms of what we're birthing, what is our deepest desire that's connecting our heart and soul? This is not a mental exercise,
Mm-mm.
except using the higher mind to watch our process.
Yeah. And it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, we did basically go through a birth canal type of thing. And there's a lot of stuff that has to do with the eclipse, but the
Yeah.
energetics of the eclipse
Mm-hmm.
that was a rebirth, and it was going through a doorway or a portal. And so much has changed just since the eclipse.
2 weeks, not even.
Have woke up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Waking up.
You're waking up. It's an amazing time.
And that's the quantum consciousness. If we can tap it, like if we can like connect those wires, it can happen. We just have to disconnect and reconnect to something we really want to be experiencing. And it's more instantaneous, depending on how clear we are, how open the space is around us and how receptive we are as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And finding things that, the things that are in the way, they're bubbling up to the surface right now. So letting those go is really important for your own growth at this point. Like, it's going to get you further faster if you're willing to let go of some things.
The waters are a little choppy, but let's ride with Varuna and follow the dragon head and engage with the cosmos. So the waters. And this is the sensitivity of the water to and the quality of the water we're imbibing. That's really important too. So
Yeah. And the waters, they are consciousness.
yes.
So
Oh yeah.
they're the biggest symbol of consciousness. And that's what we are. We're consciousness. Our bodies contain all this consciousness and all this water. So just being aware of all that and drinking good water, that's also important. And,
With good
filtering your
salt, with
water,
good salt.
good salt,
Yeah.
salt
Yeah.
water, really big.
We have the 3 planets in Pisces, which is very much about water, but Scorpio is a water sign too. And it's like Niagara Falls. It's the power of water, and that it has that communication consciousness. Water does. So that's why we need to talk. Our self-talk needs to be positive because our body is taking that in. The waters of our body are influenced by the impressions of those thoughts that we're harboring.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is beautiful. I really love this chat. This was really helpful. And just for people to know, like, we're shedding right now and we're coming into the new thing. So we're starting something new. We definitely went through a doorway. And the more you shed, the more new that's going to come in. So just keep going with it. And love
And how vigilant you are in the moment as you're moving through your day.
Enjoy it. Realize that we're going forward and we're letting go of the old stuff. And this is what we've been asking for and wanting for years. So we're actually in it now. And let's participate and really.
Yeah. The Jupiter Uranus is also about freeing ourselves up from stuff, and enjoying what it is that we have and using what we have, not just keeping it in a closet. This is This is appreciating the fertility of the earth and the abundance of the earth, which is certainly part of the Uranus, Jupiter, the enhancement, the augmentation of our sense of richness and joy and beauty, all the values that are more important than having, things stashed away for a rainy day, something
Yeah,
like that.
we're moving more and more into the moment. Well, and a lot of things that you don't use anymore, and you don't know if you'll use them, but you don't know if you want to throw them away, give them away.
Yes.
Take them to the local. There's always some kind of a caring and sharing type thing that you can
Yeah.
take them to, or give them to a church, or anybody that's actually helping people that are having a harder time, because they have chosen that. Got to remember that too. They've chosen to be where they're at the moment for their own learning, but let go of it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Neighbors helping neighbors.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much, Kelley. This was tremendous and I love it. And I'm excited to see what happens over these next few weeks. And we'll get together again soon before the next big
Yeah.
event.
Yeah. We've got Mercury turning forward with Chiron, meaning really fresh take on things. And then we have 2 more weeks of the moon waning, this eclipse, new moon, kind of waning before we start again. And what is the next moon cycle going to have? We'll talk about another time.
Yes, definitely. It's so good. And remember, this is like culminating in the astral plane. That's where all this is being created. Like, there have been times that the board has been reset, the game has been changed, and we have no idea that it's been changed. So, whatever we want and whatever the cycle is that's best for us, that's what's going to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, belief systems are part of Jupiter. So if we can change our belief systems and open them up to such possibilities without saying, no, that can never happen, that's part of it too. And whatever's going on is going to blow our minds enough to open them and
Yeah.
change our belief systems along the way.
So good. And Kelley's links are going to be below, you guys. So if you want to have a meeting with Kelley, which I highly recommend, I would definitely look her up. Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you,
I love
everybody.
doing personal charts. So,
Yes.
okay. Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
great day
you.
and a great weekend.
Beautiful. Okay. Bye, everybody.